Alright guys, so it's been a while since I've done an in-gym vlog. So decided to take you guys through what I'm doing today. It's a lower body day. Currently on the Horse Concurrent program by Will Rattel. It's a really fun program. Pretty simple, straightforward, raw lifting, brutal kind of strength training that I really like. As you all may already know if you follow me on Instagram, my knees are not doing too great. I'm going to be doing a scaled down version of it, switching out certain movements that I may have trouble with in terms of range of motion or load and whatnot. Today's session calls for some hurdle jumps at the start. So we're going to set up the hurdles here. I'm going to go for low hurdles because I'm just reintroducing some plyometrics into my training itself. I have not been doing much plyometrics, if any, since my track and field meet. Did some isos before this as well, just a 90-degree knee flexion, holding it there in the knee, in the leg extension for about 45 seconds. Now these bad boys are feeling okay, feeling warmed up. We're going to go into the hurdles, so I'm going to set it up now. There's going to be 6 hurdles, it doesn't matter how many hurdles. Basically we're going to go consecutive jumps for 12 minutes. I'm going to set the timer and we're going to see how this goes for 12 minutes. So resting as and when needed. So what I'm noticing is that the longer I go into the set, the more comfortable I feel jumping and landing, and the less pain I get. Before I start working out, it's gonna hurt and all that, but once I warm up and stuff, it gets better. And then we'll only know whether I did too much at the end of the session or the next day. Coaching notes said to be creative with this, so I'm gonna try and be creative with this. Okay, next up is we're gonna build up to heavy 5 on the Zercher pins, but I've not set up the pins yet, so I'm gonna see how deep I can go in the squat, and then that's where I'll set the pin at and hopefully minimize excessive pain through the movement itself. Alright, so testing it out. Okay, so the thing is, I feel no pain from here to here. Here, pain. Here, no pain. Coming back up, no pain. Pain and no pain. So it's a really short range, not all the way down. So just gonna play around the height and see how it goes. Okay, so this is gonna take me a while to figure out. Let's just see if this height is okay. Okay, not too bad. Of course, I do feel a bit of pain, but it's not too excessive to the point where I'm worried that I can't do the set. So I'll use my better judgment for this. Just reviewed the footage and I'm gonna have to use the wide angle. Really easy. Up we go. 60. Up. Yep. Still easy. Up we go. So this is where it will probably start to suck. It'll probably start to hurt the inside of my elbows. How to make it less painful? Suck it up. Just don't be soft. Up. probably the heaviest I've ever done Zerchers with. Or have I gone heavier? I really can't remember. But yeah, here goes nothing. Yeah, on. That is definitely my first working set. So we're gonna go one more of 5 for this. Recently, a client of mine was sharing that he hasn't been losing weight or hasn't been reaching his goals as fast as he wanted to. He was sure that he was eating like less than 1008 calories for sure to lose weight. But the thing is, you wouldn't really know exactly if you never meticulously tracked it every single calorie. One of the best ways to do, like, as much as I don't like tracking to be a long-term strategy for you to lose weight and keep the weight off, I do feel that it's a necessary step for you to know exactly sort of how much you're eating. And if you're lazy to track your calories and all that, what you could do is just go the really boring route, eat the same, like track for 1 week and then eat the same thing for the next week. Of course, you want to have like variations in your diet through the entire week, but that's one way to sort it out. Then again, I'm not a nutritionist or a dietitian, so if you do need more help on nutrition stuff, you know, do speak to a nutritionist or a dietitian. We have one here at UFit, so if you're a UFit client, you know who to talk to. Okay, we're gonna go for one more set of Zercher pin squats, 5 reps, and then we'll move on to the next movement. Glad that's done. You know what's the coolest part? At the working set and at the heaviest weight, I felt zero pain, no pain at all. Zero. Doesn't make sense, but it makes sense because pain is a complex thing. I'm not a pain expert, but I know when to push myself and when not to. End of the day, just listen to your body and it should be okay. And if you really need help, speak to a physiotherapist, a good physiotherapist, not just any random physiotherapist. And we have many here at UFit as well. And I know it's starting to sound like I'm promoting the gym I'm working at, but facts are facts. Anyway, we are moving on to the next lift. Next one is a snatch grip deficit Jefferson curl. Never done this before, new movement, so I'm gonna load up a little on the lighter end and slowly see how it goes. First time doing this, so let's just hope and get this right. Snatch grip, Jefferson curls. We're doing 6 reps for this one. Oh, you can definitely go heavier on that. So on social media, I'm not sure if you guys know or not, but if you guys do follow Atlas, Power Shrug, and I guess Bradley, there seems to be another beef going on where they started coming up with it all started with Angus's post talking about strength training in 2004 and strength training in 2024, but the difference is that back then in 2004 people would go for like heavy mid-head kind of lifts, and now in 2024 the pendulum has swung all the way to the other end of the spectrum where we are using extreme ranges of motion and underloading them severely. Of course, I understood what Angus was trying to say in that post, but somehow Atlas sort of misread it or something. I don't know. Maybe he just couldn't kind of grasp what Angus was saying. Could it be jealousy or whatnot? I don't know. I don't know what's in his head. I don't know his intentions and all that behind it. But one thing's for sure is that I do agree that it's great that these movements like Jeffersons and Zerches and all that are gaining popularity, but way too many people are sandbagging it, and it should be treated like any other lift. Should be progressing in them quite regularly, how you would in a regular lift. Like I've seen way too many people spending too much time doing Jefferson curls with a 8 kilo kettlebell. Like, okay, if you're new to that movement, that's fine, but if you are gonna be using that as a way to get into spinal flexion and just sticking to the same weight, you're not gonna really progress that much. Like, how much adaptation is that gonna drive? I guess what I'm trying to say is just, load up your movements, even the extreme ranges of motion. A good example of somebody who does that is someone like Alec Blenis, who has pushed the boundaries of single leg training and like odd lifts to a degree, and he's pushing like really impressive numbers at that. And no doubt he's a beast and all that, and he has that dog in him, but not many people have that, and yeah, that's fine. We start off somewhere, but do not neglect progression in these kind of lifts. So first set, just now I tried it out at 6 reps for 40 kilos. We are gonna go for 60 kilos this time and see how it feels. Some of you might feel that it's too much of a jump, but I beg to differ. I think that this is okay based on how I feel on that last one. Okay, so we are gonna try this out. I'm gonna hook grip this thing because it feels weird not hook gripping. Alright, let's go. Yeah. Yep. Now this is more like it. That felt good, to be honest, but yeah, that's probably the heaviest I've ever done, like a Jefferson anything, and felt about right. So this is what I'm going to stick with for now. Finish up the last few sets before we move on to the next exercise. So I will take that 40 kilo set as a warm-up set, building up to a heavy one. Alright, set number 2 here, 60 kilos. Bismillah. Last one. Woo! Spicy. So there's also another thing I want to talk about when it comes to like training with injury. I've observed way too many times that some people who do get injured in certain parts of their body, it could be the knee, it could be the shoulder, it could be anything, they sort of like stop all progress on exercise or in any lifts that they do, and which I think is something that you shouldn't do. Like, yeah, sure, if your knees hurt, then maybe you want to limit your squatting and reduce the volume and intensity of your squatting. That doesn't mean that your hinging stuff, your deadlifts, your leg curls and all those stuff, and even your upper body should not take a back seat, and in fact you should double down on them, make them your main focus in trying to improve strength, and at the same time being sensible on loading the injury and rehabbing it of sorts. My knee injury, past 2 weeks I've been working a lot on isometrics and stuff like that, and for my hamstrings and my like hip dominant movements, I've still been doing things like hamstring curls. I've been doing some sort of hinging, loading it to where I can. So yeah, do not neglect the other body parts that are not injured. Try to push it a bit more and progress in them, as long as the movements do not hinder you or do not bother the injured area or aggravate it or make it worse. Then training it and pushing it a little bit more should be fine. Like hinging has no effect on my knees at all when I'm doing things like Romanian deadlifts and Jefferson curls like this. But when it comes to things like conventional deadlifts, that's where I start to feel a little bit more pain, probably because of the knee angle that I have in my deadlift setup. Modifications have to be put in place. Like my snatching from the floor hurts my knees, but snatching from blocks is fine. So I've been doing block snatches instead of like snatches from the floor. One final set. Let's go. And we're done. Okay, so final one for today is a safety bar step up. I've been using like 3 of these blocks for the past 2 weeks, body weight. So we're gonna try it out and see if my knee gets aggravated when I put the safety bar on my back. Okay, that's pretty okay on the right knee. Let's try on the left. We're gonna add one more step and see how this goes. I'm gonna keep the weight about the same. Gonna build up to a set of 10. Hopefully this feels fine on my knees so I can start loading this up. Okay. Strange thing is that first couple of reps on the left felt like a bit of a pain, but it slowly subsided as I went into the set. So I'm gonna try and load it up with some 10s and we'll see how it goes. Yep, still easy. Okay, that hurt my right knee. Slight pain there. See, first rep hurts, And once I get the groove going, it stops hurting, which is frustrating because, like, I know I can do this, but this is that sensation of pain that stops me from doing it. There we go. Finish up the last one and call it a day. So that's it for today, guys. Hope you like that. If you do like that, consider giving me a subscribe, like this video, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. And I'm gonna try and make this a weekly thing. Alright, see you guys.